What is up, movie lovers? Welcome back to the Pass the Popcorn podcast, the only show where the takes are hot, the popcorn is fresh, and spoilers are usually accidental. I'm your host, Nick, here with my co-host, Rob. And we are so incredibly pumped that you're here today. Whether you're a diehard cinephile or just a casual moviegoer, this is the right place for you. So make sure you find your seat, you grab your snacks. The show starts right now.
Right. You know, this is our last week in this particular format. We're moving into our new quote-unquote studio where we're going to be recording from now on. And so this is the last time you'll see us in this setting, although this setting is a little bit different than normal. Also, reminder, we're in episode, 8 now?
This is episode 8.
Episode 8. Say hi to the man behind the camera, Keaton Speaks.
You guys couldn't see him last time when we said that because we didn't have video, but he did that exact same thing. He's waving his hand. That's his hand.
Yeah, he's waving his hand. This is
Giving
his
the
time of
thumbs.
redemption right now.
Look at that thumb.
Look at that hand. Oh my gosh, that's a good-looking hand. What's going on in your thumb there? You got some sort of...
I burned myself.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Hey, very fair. Very fair. So this is our last day here in the studio in honor of our last episode, which was a great episode. No video. But it's okay.
We're trying new things.
We're trying new things. It didn't work. But in honor of that last episode, which you should go listen to because it's a great episode, I have my Batman cup today. And
he didn't bring it last week.
I didn't bring it last week, so I brought it today. As a form of redemption. But we're going to get into our movie. Usually we would do a couple of other areas. We would work on post-popcorn perceptions. But we're going to save that actually for a From the Theater episode, right?
Yeah. We're going to do a little YouTube short and TikTok, Instagram reel. Actually at the movie theater because the day of recording, we're going to go see All I Need Is Kill.
All You Need Is Kill
in the Megaplex in Ogden.
Yes, the Junction. We're going to go with my family. We're going to go see All You Need Is Kill. All You Need Is Kill, for those of you who don't know, is if you know the movie Live, Die, Repeat or Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, which is an incredible sci-fi movie, an extravaganza of great action. Doug Liman, we've talked about before. It is based on that. It's the anime novella that is actually based on that, and anime is blowing up.
Yeah, that's why our producer Keaton decided to put our My Hero Academia popcorn bucket right here in the middle.
You know, between things like Chainsaw Man and what else did we get this year?
Demon Slayer.
Yes.
Those are the two biggest anime style movies.
There's some big ones coming this year too. I think it's just I think anime is going to continue to blow up in theaters. But our main focus of these episodes will really be on the wheel. Nick, tell them about the wheel.
So for those of you who are new, one day I really wanted to start a podcast, and so I put every movie from my movie library on a wheel. I have since added movies from Rob's movie library and everything in between. Yeah. And at the end of each episode, we spin the wheel to find out which movie we will be watching and talking about for that next week's episode. We did Batman last week.
Yes.
We spun the wheel, and it landed on Pans Labyrinth. So our first foreign film here on the podcast.
Yes.
Our first Guillermo Del Toro film here on the podcast.
Yeah, Pans Labyrinth, released in about 2006.
2006.
You know...
I saw you try to sneak that in there.
Yeah.
I saw you try to sneak that in there.
I'm glad you caught that. And Keaton behind the camera with the hands.
Oh my gosh.
2006. This is the first of ours, which is a foreign language film. And for those of you that are immediately not necessarily a fan of that, of those kind of things, you really need to give this one a shot, because I do believe that this is an excellent movie, in my opinion. And I'm not going to give my kernel perception yet, but I do believe that its success, and it was great success, really opened the door for a lot of other much more mainstream foreign films.
Yeah, I will say, too, if you're like, they don't speak English in it. I know.
Yes.
Pretty much all of you watch movies with subtitles.
Yeah.
And they're speaking English. So
that's you can watch Netflix.
You can handle a film where you're watching it and you have to read the subtitles. This doesn't take you out of it. It doesn't mess with your viewing experience. It's really good, I promise.
Well, and here's the deal. It doesn't matter. Like, if there's a movie that you've watched that's like, and it's a bad movie in English, nothing's gonna, if it just stinks, it doesn't matter if there's subtitles or not. You're not gonna want to watch it. But if it's a great movie, you're gonna be drawn into the emotion, to the characters, to the everything. This movie in 2007 would win Academy Awards for Best Cinematography, one of your favorite categories.
I love cinematography.
Best Art Direction, Best Makeup. Makeup is incredible, and maybe one of the best of all time.
If there's anything you need to know about a Guillermo Del Toro movie, is Guillermo Del Toro is gonna give you some creatures. He's gonna give you some interesting looking folks.
And I will tell you that if you have not seen on Netflix Frankenstein yet, Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein, you have to go watch that movie. It is so excellent. It's just phenomenal. I saw it in the theater. We've talked about your feelings about Netflix and their short releases in theaters. And I do believe that Frankenstein deserved a longer release in theaters. But, this is a man who made Pacific Rim, Hellboy,
Shape of Water,
Pinocchio, which is amazing. I love Pinocchio. You've got, like we just talked about, Frankenstein. You got Crimson Peak. There's so many interesting movies that Guillermo del Toro has made, but he's also been involved in like animated projects like Troll Hunters and a lot of these things. So he's a very interesting director, and this takes place in Spain, and I think Mexico. It's not like there's a reference to Mexico or something, but it takes place primarily in Spain. This also won the BAFTA award for foreign language film. And interesting factoid, Nick. And let me preface this. So you know Cannes Film Festival, or Cannes, Cannes Film Festival. You know how they do that really pretentious like standing ovation thing for movies? Yeah, where and then they always talk about this movie received a 7-minute standing ovation, or Dwayne Johnson received it. And I'm gonna call it what it is. It's kind of dumb and fairly pretentious, but it's still like a big deal amongst the film community. And this movie has the longest one of all time. Do you know how long the standing ovation was for Pan's Labyrinth?
It was like 14 minutes.
22-minute long standing ovation.
I was close.
By far the longest ever. It's insane. 22-minute standing ovation. Now, some of you are watching this, and you're watching this and you're listening to this just like Keaton. Your eyes are open wide, and they're rolling into the back of your head because you're going 22 minutes.
That is so awkward.
It's awkward. Yes, it has to be awkward.
Just standing there and clapping for 22 minutes.
But this is just to tell. I want to set up majorly that this is ranked amongst the greatest films of the 21st century, and I would put it up there. Like, of the movies we've seen released, this is a pretty special movie. And what do we owe? This is a family podcast. Is this movie for kids, Nick?
Oh, no,
it's not.
It's weird because it does, like, when
points.
you look at it, if you were to look at some parts of it, like it follows an 11-year-old girl, and you go, whoa, 11-year-old girl, fantasy characters. This is, like you were saying even before we started, like, oh, Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes. It is reminiscent of Chronicles of Narnia and of Alice in Wonderland and these kind of stories.
But they dial it up to an 11.
Yeah. Well, and Guillermo del Toro, he stated in an interview once, he said that this film is not for children. Like, it's framed like a fairy tale, but it's not for kids. So I do encourage adults to check it out, but it's not necessarily for kids. And that's mainly due to just some of the violence. Because let's just kind of set up the story of this. This takes place in war.
Yeah, this is it's 1944. This is just the overview. So it's 1944, and the Allies have invaded Nazi-held Europe. In Spain, a troop of soldiers are sent to a remote forest to flesh out the rebels. They're led by Captain Vidal. We'll get to him. And we see his new wife, Carmen, and her daughter from a previous marriage. Our main character, 11-year-old Ophelia.
Yes, Ophelia.
And so they're out in the middle of this forest at a mill, prior to watching this for this, I had only seen the opening sequence, like when they first get to the house, because that's what they showed us in film school.
Yes.
For a lot of the cinematography, the camera moving around.
Important film in regards to cinematography.
Yeah, this is
how
great cinematography.
How they establish, like, for those of you that don't get into this much, this is a really interesting thing. How they establish geography here in this space, that it's at the bottom of this hill, that there's hills all around it. And it does really good at making sure you understand where it's, so that when the action and everything is happening. I was just watching a podcast where a guy was talking about Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the Battle of Helm's Deep. One of the greatest sequences ever filmed, probably top 10 of all time. And one thing he said is how important it is to capture geography. So, like, you know, and the point of capturing geography whenever you are filming something like that, what you're ultimately doing is, if you make sure that the audience knows that, hey, there's this wall, and then there's this like sideways area, and then there's stairs here and everything, you don't have to cut back constantly and remind people there are soldiers here and everything. You can just stay in the action because the audience knows what the geography is like. And I think that's what Guillermo Del Toro and his cinematographers and everybody do a really good job in this. And the beginning of this opens with this fairy tale narration.
It's fairy tale narration, but they do a really interesting thing. When it starts, you have the girl who hasn't been named yet, but we can assume it's Ophelia, the main character.
Yes.
She's on the ground, bleeding. But what I thought was really interesting was she's bleeding, but it's like as the person's narrating, which is the fawn, I believe, right?
I believe it is the fawn.
The blood is coming back into her body.
Again, a Chronicles of Narnia like reference there, the fawn. And so yeah, it's playing it in reverse, and so there's this like hope that's happening here, and so like from the start, the movie tells you how it ends, but in some way it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you, Nick, real quickly, without spoiling anything immediately, although we are going to spoil it in this, does knowing the ending shift our focus from what happens to what it means? What do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, because then I was honestly like they show us that, and then the throughout the movie I just kind of forgot that that's where we end up.
Yes,
I was like I wasn't constantly thinking, well, how do we get to that point?
No, the movie is so enthralling. And this is, I'm going to use a big word here. You know me and my stupid big words. Sumptuous. It's just rich. It's really full of like so much texture and everything. It's just a really like this movie's a meal. Like it's like a really good meal. Like it's great. So, you mentioned the arrival at the mill.
Yeah, so we have a scene where they're driving these cars down a road. Ophelia they get out because her mom is pregnant. She's feeling sick, unwell. She goes walking around. She sees this giant. She finds a piece of a statue, puts it back together, and then this giant grasshopper stick bug.
Yeah, like a walking
stick bug.
Yes.
Finds out she calls it a fairy. Which first I was like, bro, I was like, is this what we're depicting fairies as? It wasn't
as
like
bugs.
Yeah, I was like, Guillermo Del Toro at it again.
Oh yeah, well, and we'll come more to that. We'll get back to that later. But like, even then, the bug looks so for CGI.
Yeah,
looks incredibly
for
real.
early 2000s CGI. It looks great.
It looks great. Really, really good.
They get back in the car. They head to the mill. A key thing is her mom says, I need you to call him father. It's just a word. Just call the captain father.
And she won't.
She won't.
She will not. Every time he's referred to as her father, she keeps unpacking over and over again that I had a father.
He was a tailor.
He was a tailor, and he died. And does it go into why? Like, was he in war or something like that?
He got called to war.
He got called to war or something. And so that leads her to meeting. So her mother has now remarried and married Captain Vidal, who we mentioned. Captain Vidal is, we can let you know from the jump that Captain Vidal is our villain.
Scumbag.
He's our villain. And the movie lets you know he's a scumbag, absolutely. The movie lets you know very, very fast that he sucks.
It's quite literally from the first, like, you first see him, right? And it's not like immediately you're like, this guy's evil. He walks up, he sees his wife, he's greeting her, seems like okay, and then it's really shows his colors when she goes to give him a handshake with her left hand, and he grabs it and goes, "It's the other hand."
Yeah, no,
and then walks away.
It's immediately to establish control. Why else would you do it? That Captain Vidal in this moment, that she's holding her books. She's holding her books, so that's important to know too. Is she's holding her fairy tales and everything close to her, and reaches out with what is necessarily the wrong hand. Like this to him, it's control. He is obsessed with order. You can see it in how he combs his hair.
Mm-hmm. He always is shaving.
How he shaves his face. How he leads his men. How do you feel like this setting communicates danger? But no violence happens yet, but you can already feel tension.
It's just because it's like he's so prim and proper in just the way that he is addressing her. Like, she's a kid.
Yeah.
And like, not only that, it's his stepdaughter.
Yeah.
And the way that he interacts with her and is just already filled with disdain.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, this dude, like, and if you look at it from the perspective of, if you're going into it thinking it's a fairy tale, you think, okay, the whole story is going to be about him warming up to her. Yeah. Right? Like, you could think that that's what it's going to be, because that's typically what this story, like this style of story is done in, is
absolutely the Chronicles of Narnia, the Alice in Wonderland, the whatever. Yeah. But sometimes in these stories too, that you just have villains. Mm-hmm. And so that eventually leads to she finds this labyrinth.
Yeah, right off, as you said, establishing geography. You establish that this labyrinth is literally like right next.
Yeah, it's a part of the grounds.
It's a part of the grounds. And the house caretaker, Mercedes says, "Oh, you don't want to go in there. You'll end up getting lost."
Yes.
Brings her back to the house.
Which, when you think about that, means so much more when you get it later. That you end up in there, you'll get very lost. Like, it's really smart. Like, really smart how this movie works this all together. It's really beautifully done. And so that leads her to, there's a curiosity in her. And what it's doing is it's setting up this idea that, one, her mother is very sick. Mm-hmm. We have to establish that. She is pregnant with Captain Vidal's baby boy. And she's incredibly sick. And so they had her travel to him. Again, they're establishing control. They had her travel to him, even though she was so sick that she could lose the baby at any point.
And the doctor even says, "Hey, we shouldn't have had her move here." And he goes, "A son should be born where his father is."
Yes. Again, Vidal is controlling. He is mean. He doesn't care about anyone else but himself and all of this. Mm-hmm. So, you have these characters, Vidal being who he is, Mom being who she is, Mercedes being who she is. It's doing a really good job of separating all these characters. And Ophelia is who the story is centered on. And ultimately, this leads to the labyrinth here. She follows his fairy tale.
Yeah, at night, she's sitting in her room, reading her books, and the stick bug thing flies in again. And she calls it a fairy, shows it a picture of a fairy, and then it transforms into a picture, like into what that fairy looks like.
Such cool CGI, how they did that.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it looked like a mixture of CGI and like claymation. It looked so real.
And this is your first, at least it was for me, like my first inclination of, is this real? Like, but for me, that's when I was like, the first inclination I thought about it is because it's a bug. She calls it a fairy, shows it a picture, and it transforms into that.
Uh-huh.
So you could think, okay, either it is actually like that and it was in a disguise, or it's all in her head, which is like the starts of the gears going on that.
Which will hit majorly. And so is she, this fawn says that you're going to give these.
You hear, so the fairy leads her into the labyrinth.
Yes.
Down these steps, she's looking at this statue, and this fawn comes to life, which is, if you've seen the promotional images, the fawn is like the guy for this. There's him and then another creature that
has these kind of like horns that come out and everything. The fawn, interesting enough, played by Doug Jones. Doug Jones played the amphibious creature in Shape of Water. Doug Jones was Abe Sapien. He's in
a lot of Guillermo Del Toro.
He's done a lot of Guillermo, but he's also done a lot of other stuff. Doug Jones is not like an actor who does a lot of like voice work or anything else, because like in Hellboy as Abe Sapien, he's voiced by David Hyde Pierce from Frasier. So like in this one, like the reason he likes to use Doug Jones is he just looks different as a person. He's very tall, long neck,
very lanky, and so he usually uses like his body form to attach lots of like prosthetics and things to him to turn him into different kinds of creatures. And here's what's really, really cool. Guillermo Del Toro put an earpiece in Doug Jones, and Doug Jones is the fawn. Doug Jones is actually several characters in this, I believe. And he is just giving him direction the whole time of like, here's what you're going to do now. And so all his movements, everything, the voice over work is coming in later, similar to like Darth Vader. But Guillermo Del Toro is telling him what to do. So let me ask you, the fawn comes into the picture here. Is the fawn immediately trustworthy to you? No.
See, to me, to me, the fawn at first is disarming. Like a little bit disarming. Like, and so that's interesting that we would disagree on that one.
I mean, for me, it's because when you see the fawn, right, it seems to be immobile and then it comes to life, but it's like, I don't know. It's maybe just some lingering distrust.
Well, yeah. No, but it does. It does. It makes us a little bit unsure. Okay, think about, you've seen Alice in Wonderland. Who is the guide in that one? It's the Cheshire Cat. And at first, Cheshire Cat. And do you trust the Cheshire Cat? Not typically.
No.
And when you go into Narnia, who does she meet first? She meets
James McAvoy's
the fawn.
The fawn.
Yeah. And you somewhat trust him, but then what? I don't mean to spoil it if you haven't seen Chronicles of Narnia, but if you haven't seen Chronicles of Narnia, I mean, seriously, like, good Lord. And if you haven't seen Chronicles of Narnia, the fawn, what's he do? He betrays. So it's like this trope that he is setting up. But he's also, like, Guillermo del Toro is really setting up this idea that I want this story to feel real ultra familiar to you. Yeah,
and I think it also comes down to, for me, just when he's like, oh, yeah, you're not an actual human. You were born of this dude, like you're a moon child. And I was like,
yes, she's a princess.
She's like, you're a princess. You've been marked. All these. I'm just like,
Princess, not Moana, Princess Muna or something like that. That she is basically like a moon princess that she has been created, and she has this like birthmark that looks like a moon on her shoulder, and nobody ever. She sees it, but you never really get anybody's confirmation.
Yeah, which plays again into, she knows she has that mark, so it could be a thing later down the line where you're thinking this is all a way for, as you said, for her to get through the war and get through all this stuff happening.
Yeah, it's what I was telling Nick prior to starting recording of this is many believe that what's happening here, and you have to kind of ask yourself the question before the end of this is all of this fairy tale stuff actually happening, or is it a trauma response? Is it her trauma response to the world she's living in? Because it's a violent, ugly world that she is living in, and she's lost her father and so much, which ultimately leads to task one. She receives this really nice dress, and she's supposed to come to this really nice dinner and everything, but she is a very curious girl. So she listens to the fawn.
Opens his book that acts a lot like the Marauders map.
Yeah, like when you're alone, it reveals itself only to you and to no one else. Again.
And it tells her, hey, you got to go find this tree, and you got to feed this frog creature these stones, and it'll spit up a key for you.
What a cool scene.
Bugs, man.
Oh my gosh. Again, it just, the toad looks so real. Like,
Yeah.
Guillermo Del Toro does such a good job of, like, in an age where we are so heavy on our usage of CGI, and CGI can be really good, or CGI can be really bad and take you out of it because you're all like, this isn't real. At any given point, you feel like, I can't tell the difference between reality and what is fake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though it's so fantastical, he makes everything look so real. So, and he connects all of them. She finds this tree. She crawls down. She goes in this area. She's crawling in this muck.
Through the mud and the bugs. Giant frog shows up, licks her, like, gets a bug off of her face. That part, oh, gosh.
Yes.
Me and bugs. I just don't like bugs. And the fact that it was like,
how about
on her
Indiana
face.
Jones in that, like, scene where, like, there's all of the spiders and everything?
I just don't like
no?
bugs.
Okay, all right.
I just don't like bugs in general, ever, in any movie.
That toad was actually a full animatronic coated in slime and mud for realism. A full-on controlled animatronic. Really, really amazing. So
she tricks it into eating some rocks.
Yes.
It's like spits out. It's in this movie.
Its tongue picks it up.
This movie for what it is. There is some moments where you're just like, where I was chuckling just because, like, what's going on? The frog, like, exudes its entire being out of its.
Oh yeah,
as
soon as the thing, everything that's within it is, like, thrown up out of it like it's a skin suit.
Yeah. And it just made me chuckle.
Yeah, I love Keaton's face as I said that.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly. See, exactly. It was gross.
That's how I imagine. But that's how I imagine we die. No, I'm just kidding. I don't believe that.
In that, like, when you see that, I was like, all I did was chuckle, not because it was a funny scene, but it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then she gets the key. She goes back home, gets chastised because, one, nobody could find her.
Oh yeah. Well, but before you get to that though, there are some major themes that, and I think every one of the tasks have major themes to them, and I think they're important themes. This first task is really the innocence of who she is and what she is. She is confronting a like rotted, messed up creature. Mm-hmm. It's like, so this is her innocence confronting everything she's facing. That's
when she asks
in
the
her
frog,
life.
She goes, "How could you live here destroying this tree?" Like,
Exactly.
Because the presence of the frog is killing the tree.
Yes. So, like, it absolutely, it is this beautiful tree, and you notice that tree looks something like the fawn.
Mm-hmm.
Looks a little bit like the fawn. Again, this is all of this means stuff, but it's like subtext. It's really interesting subtext. So she goes back.
Mercedes finds her. Her mom, like, she shows up and her dress is all ruined. Her mom is very upset because her mom made the dress for her.
And Mercedes is awesome. She takes such good care of her, especially in the state that her mother's in.
Yeah, Mercedes. We love Mercedes. Mercedes is really good.
Yeah.
And then she takes a bath. The fairy shows up again. She goes, "Hey, I have the key." And the fairy goes and tells the fawn. And I'm kind of like fuzzy on what happens right after that.
Okay, so this is where Vidal at this point actually goes out because they said they
found the people.
They found two ultimately they see them as rebels. What we ultimately find out is they might not have necessarily been rebels.
So it's a dad and his son
who said they were farmers.
So they were farmers and they were hunting rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
And Vidal's checking their stuff, and they keep constantly saying, "We're hunting rabbits." If my dad says he was hunting rabbits, he was hunting rabbits. He pulls out this glass bottle, and then proceeds to beat this dude's face in.
And you watch his face cave in.
Yeah, this is where it really clicked for me that this, because I forgot it was rated R.
Yes.
This is where it clicked for me that this was rated R, because I was like, oh yeah, he's just gonna beat him with a bottle, and he's gonna no, they show you. Because Guillermo Del Toro loves doing that.
Oh yeah, he's showing you that Vidal is in control, and he is not a compassionate person at all. Lacks complete empathy. He's a sociopath. He is terrible, and he's convinced that he's right, even though he finds out.
Yeah, he kills him, shoots his dad, shoots him, and then opens his bag.
Beats the dad. No, beats the son.
But the son isn't fully dead yet.
Yes.
So then he shoots his dad, then he shoots his son, and then he goes back to the bag and he pulls out rabbits and he goes, next time actually search these people before you bother me with it.
You notice in this one how much they shoot people in the head.
Oh my gosh, they got to make sure they're actually dead.
Yes.
I realized that. I was like, man, he's really just...
They're shooting people in the head a lot in this one.
Guillermo Del Toro.
Very pre-John Wick days, where John Wick always does like the... I can't wait for us to get to John Wick. But he always does the double tap where he's, and then he comes up to you and boom, gets you right in the head. Like, he's going to make sure, Vidal and these guys are going to make sure.
They must have watched Scream. You always got to shoot him in the head.
Absolutely. You always got to shoot him in the head. So, and then ultimately what that leads to is this Task 2.
Task 2, which her mom falls even more ill. She's trying to open up the book again, and the pages flood with red. And then she looks out, and her mom is bleeding.
Yes. Thank you.
And they have to get the doctor. They have to save her mom. The fawn comes and is like, "Are you ready for task 2?" And she says, "I can't do anything else. I have to help my mom." Mm-hmm. And the fawn says, "You're bogging yourself down with stuff that doesn't matter. Here is a mandrake root," which just made me think of Harry Potter.
And it looked like the mandrake root from Harry Potter. And it was like it was a living creature.
It was like, "Hey, put this in a bowl of milk under your mom's bed
with 2 drops of your own blood.
With 2 drops of blood, and like check on it every day, and she'll be fine."
What it will do is it will heal your mother. And what you find later is that her mother, as it's under the bed, she's getting better.
She's getting better. Like the second she puts it in there and drops the blood, the doctor comes in and says, "Oh, her temperature's going down. Her fever's breaking."
Again, though, the question is that real? I mean, the mandrake's real, but is her getting better real, or is that her response? Like, you don't know for sure. This is Ofelia's like trauma response. So she does this, and then she has to go on to her next task. The fawn's like, you need to be about your business, which is you becoming this princess
before the full moon.
Yes, because the full moon's coming in a few days.
Here's a special piece of chalk. You're gonna draw a door, and you're gonna go into this place. She goes, "But listen to me. When you go in there, it is impertinent to your life, to you living. You're gonna see so much food, a great feast. Don't eat anything." He's very intentional with that. He goes, "Here, you're gonna take the fairies, my friend. You're gonna take them, and they're gonna help you with this."
This is sort of what it looks like here. The feast. I actually pulled together a picture of the feast. This is what the feast looks like, and it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
And the set design here is phenomenal.
So she goes down there. She has to use her key that she got from the frog to open up a certain lock to get a dagger. She gets that. There's a guy sitting at the edge of the table. Like, he doesn't have any eyes. His hands are down. He's not moving. There's a plate with eyeballs on it. She looks at it. She sets it down.
He is known as, and this is him right here without eyes, he's known as the Pale Man.
The Pale Man.
That is his name. He is the Pale Man.
Let me tell you, the discussions when I was like looking into this, people were like, "Yeah, it's rated R. There's a lot of stuff." He goes, "The Pale Man scene is just pretty disturbing."
It is. It's very disturbing.
So as she's leaving, she looks at the food. And Rob had called. I'm rewatching this, and Rob calls me around this time, but I'm rewatching it, and it's just as she goes, she's looking at the grapes, fairies in her face. Yes. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Waves them off. Grabs a grape.
Fairies
Don't do it.
She's been given by the fawn.
Don't. Saying, given one rule: don't eat any of this food. Picks up a grape. Fairies, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Eats the grape. Dude starts putting the eyeballs in his hands, because if you might not have seen this movie, but I guarantee Rob might pull it up. You have seen at least this image because it's an iconic image of the guy covering up with the eyeballs in his hands. Okay, fairy's still telling her stop. She eats another grape. Dude comes over, grabs the fairies out of the sky.
Man in his eyes.
That's him in his eyes. You've probably seen this
because his
point.
Eyes are on a plate. And he doesn't awaken unless somebody eats something from that room. So he picks his eyes up on his hands, puts them on his hands. They enter into his hand.
That's the only way he can see.
Like, that's the eye socket. And he holds
here.
them up like this.
And hang on, before we finish the part where the fairies are telling her not to eat these grapes because she's just an idiot, up on the ceiling are depictions of this pale man eating children.
Yes.
So she goes, fairies are telling her no. He gets up, he grabs the fairies, kills 2 of them. She runs, barely gets out of there. And Rob calls me. I'm like, oh, I'm watching it right now. I said, Rob, the way, I don't care how good that food looked. If a giant fawn had told me, the one thing you don't do is eat this food. I see murals of this thing eating children, and fairies are flying around my face going, the one thing I'm not going to do is eat that food. That's the one thing I'm not going to do.
Yes. Okay, but that brings up a good question here. So one thing you need to know about the Pale Man. Pale Man is, again, each one of these things has a theme. So the Pale Man's theme is he is meant to be a symbol of power consuming the innocent. So now it is innocence in contact with rot and destruction. And then in the second theme, it is power, war, these things consuming the innocent. And so this is it's a disturbing scene, but is Ofelia's disobedience a failure, or is it a necessary step towards growth?
I think it's a failure. I think it's a failure, Rob.
I view this as a necessary step towards growth. I believe that this is a necessary step towards growth. I think that this is a part of, like, she learns something going on to, like, she learns more that what the fawn says I need to take very seriously at this point. And I think by learning this, she's ultimately, I don't know if she's going to go through with step 3 if she doesn't truly believe that, she goes down there, does nothing, comes out, she doesn't learn anything. She goes, oh, okay, well, he was right, but I don't know because I didn't test it. And I mean, how many times have you and I, like, growing up, and I have kids, how many times do we test the things that we shouldn't do?
Yeah.
And why do we test the things that we shouldn't do? Because we want to honestly, like, prove whether or not 6'7". Yeah, we want to prove where are the boundaries? Like, where are the boundaries? Like, what? Like, okay, he said this. Her mind is going, well, he can't be talking about a grape. Like, he can't be talking about a grape. But the fawn makes clear, anything. Don't eat anything.
Don't touch anything.
But I think, like, Nick, this really shows, like, as a guy without kids and a guy with kids who's lived through some of this a little bit, that you can get different takes from this. But again, this is what makes this movie so interesting, is nothing ever at any point of this movie is just one. It could be a couple of different things.
It could be. And
yes.
That was just like, it was more, like, as Rob said, it was a moment where you just want to scream.
Yes.
Like, he told me something.
Oh, I felt it. I was there, too.
You just want to scream at the
too.
TV. Especially, well, for me also, there's just, I mean, she's a kid. There's a lot of, like, I guess it's just the logical part of my brain. The second I see it bite the head off that first fairy, I'm running. I'm not just standing there. So
at the same time this is happening, and Mandrake Root has happened, all this kind of stuff, you're also highlighting that Mercedes and the doctor are
going into the mountains.
They're going into the mountains, and they are double agents of sorts. Mm-hmm. They are working with the
rebels.
The rebels, the resistance.
Mercedes' brother is there as one of their, like, leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And they got, I think it's her dad.
Yes.
Her dad has something wrong with his leg, and the doctor can't save it, so they have to amputate the leg. I was really glad that Guillermo Del Toro did not show me this man getting his leg cut off.
Oh, man.
I really thought he was going to.
They do all but show you his leg getting cut off because he has gangrene.
Yeah, I was like, Guillermo Del Toro, please don't make me watch this.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a man get his leg cut off right now.
Oh, yeah. But what's so different is this rebel group versus Captain Vidal and his army is, one is really, really loud and brutal, and one is very quiet. Mm-hmm. And they want to make sure that you understand the difference between these two. And Mercedes is not like a prototypical hero. Like, she's serving the bad guys. She's doing whatever she can, just like the doctor is and all these guys, because the only way that she can is sometimes to tear things down from within. It's the only way that she can. And she ultimately gives them a key.
She gives them a key to the storeroom. She tells the captain that he had the only key to this, and that's where they're storing medicine, food,
everything,
supplies.
And there's supposed to be only one key, and that's a key thing that's gonna I didn't mean to use that word, but there's a key thing. You see what I did there? And so, yeah, like the rebellion is set up at this point. The Mandragoot happens, and ultimately, what happens is
the fawn comes back.
Yes,
and she goes, "There was an accident." Some accident. Okay.
Yes.
She hands back the basket that holds the fairies. The fawn goes, "There's only one fairy," and the fairy goes, "Yo, she ate some grapes."
Yes.
And the fawn goes, "You disobeyed the rules. The one thing I told you not to do, you did."
Again, her learning. So it's part of her character
and
progression.
He goes, "You're gonna rot here. You're gonna die with the humans." And he goes, "You're not gonna see us ever again."
Yes.
Dude disappears.
Yeah, he's gone. She lives with. What it does is it puts you right back into the stress of the war and everything else. And at this point, they have had people break in from the resistance. They have stolen medicine. They've broken in, stolen things,
exploding things.
They've attacked them. What they did is they explode some stuff in the distance to distract them and get them to leave. And while they're there, they come in and steal all of this stuff. And Captain Vidal notices in this movie, at this point, he notices the lock, and he takes the lock off and he relocks it to see if the lock was forced open. And he finds that it wasn't.
It wasn't. They find, and then they go up into the mountains. They're fighting off all these rebels. All of them are dead. None of them are talking. They find one guy who we got introduced to the first time we see the rebels, who has a stutter.
Yes.
And they capture him. Also, we kind of glossed over a point earlier. They saw a fire in the distance, and they go to it, and they find a glass vial.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Really, really good. Yeah. He finds a little glass, like a medicine bottle.
Yeah. We don't know it's just a glass vial. We don't know what it is yet. They come back to the point where they find this guy. They bring him into a storehouse, and he goes, "Hey, tell me what I need to know." Starts pulling out his torture devices, saying, "By the time we're done with this, we're pretty much going to be close friends."
Yes.
He goes, "We're going to be like brothers after this."
Yeah.
And while he's torturing this guy,
I mean, just breaking his hands. When you see his hand at one point, he has broken his fingers. He is just. It is just the brutality of
homie
war.
is in rough shape.
He is in really, really bad shape, and ultimately they have the doctor come and see him because they want him to fix him up enough so they can continue to prod him for more information. Yeah. But when they leave to go take care of another problem, the doctor injects something that will basically kill that guy to relieve him. Is merciful. It was like a mercy kill. Like he is killing him so that he doesn't have to experience more pain or be torn apart even more.
And there's stuff going on in the background in this instance because we're really focused on this. But Ofelia is also up there with her mom. Since the fawn has left, she's checking on the mandrake to see if it's still helping her mom.
Yes.
And it is like the roots are around the bowl. There's still milk. It's like rotten milk at this point. Yeah. The mandrake's still there. Captain Vidal in the other room, he looks in the doctor's bag.
By this point, the mom is feeling better, but she's still resting.
Yeah, she's still resting. Captain Vidal sees in the doctor's bag a glass vial, and he takes it. He goes, sees that it's the same one, goes to check on the wife, sees her under the bed, pulls her out and goes, "What are you doing under there?"
Yeah.
And he sees this bowl of milk with this root in it, and he pulls it up and he goes, What have you been doing in here, like, to your mom?" He says, "Honey, this is what you've been letting her read these books, and look at what she's doing." And the mom freaks out on her, grabs it, and says, "Fairy tales aren't real," chucks the mandrake into the fire.
This is a really important scene because he is saying it, mom is saying it, and they're constantly reminding her that, hey, fairy tales aren't real. Fairy tales aren't real. And they're just beating this point home, on this girl of just that fairy tales aren't real, which could mean that, okay, is this happening real or not? Or is, again, like we said in the beginning, is this her trauma response to all of this? And so ultimately that leads to the doctor, like I said, gives him that shot. He comes back, realizes things, and the doctor's ultimately, he kind of defies.
Yeah, he says, "I don't know. Why did you do it? Why didn't you just listen to me and obey what I said?" And he goes, "Because following like in blind obedience isn't something that he stands for." And he starts to leave, and then Vidal shoots him.
Yep, in the back and kills him. Again, showing you how absolutely terrible Vidal is.
And in that exact moment, She throws the mandrake into the fire. It starts screaming. Her mom starts like dying, pretty much. And they go, "Hey, Captain, your wife needs a doctor." And he's like, "Well, go get the field medic." We gotta.
Yeah.
Man just killed the person who could help his wife.
Again, because he is so blinded by absolute hatred. And ultimately, in this process here, to fast forward just a little bit here.
Oh, her mom dies. Her mom dies in
childbirth. The mom
childbirth.
dies as a result of some of these things. They're able to save the baby. But Vidal makes very, very clear in the very beginning of this that he doesn't care if she dies.
Boy.
Save the boy, even at the respect of the of losing the mom. He doesn't care. She dies. There's a funeral for her. All of this stuff. Vidal ultimately in all of this starts to discover the truth about Mercedes. And he tortures her until she escapes. And
She
then
stabs him a bunch, cuts his mouth open.
And she freaking goes Joker on him and goes into his mouth with a knife. Because it continues to show you in this movie that she works in a kitchen. She has a knife. And what she'd do is she put the knife like near
in
her belly,
apron,
in
and,
her
like,
apron,
fold it
and
over.
wrap it up and keep it there. And man, that's such a cool little detail. They keep showing you, and you're like, you're gonna see that apron again. You're gonna see that knife again. And she cuts into him, and
she runs into the mountains where the rebels are. She gets chased down by guys on horses. She's like holds the knife up to her throat, and one of the captains says, "Don't do that. It'd be much better if I just killed you." And then the rebels come out and start attacking all of Vidal's men.
yes,
Rescuing Mercedes. At the same time that is all happening, the Fawn comes back
Task
to
3.
Ophelia and says, "I've decided to give you one more chance, but I need you to promise to do anything that I say.
yes,
No questions asked. You just need to do it."
Which is why I make the point. Why would she do this if she didn't? She needed to understand. See what I'm saying, Keaton? She needed to understand that this Fawn is serious. And this next thing she's going to be asked to do is to spill her infant brother's blood.
Yeah, she has to go get her infant brother.
Not like kill him.
Just get some drops of blood
From her infant brother.
She has to go first. She has to get out of the room that is locked.
Yes.
So that Fawn gives her another piece of chalk to create her own door. She gets out. She goes into the room. Vidal is stitching up his own face.
Oh, gosh, that was hard to watch.
And then he's drinking. The captain's like, "Hey," or somebody comes to get the captain. He goes out. She puts the medicine that the doctor left to help her mom sleep. She puts a lot of it into a drink, gets the baby. Her dad or her Vidal drinks it, sees her with the baby and says, "Leave him here." And she goes, "No." Starts running, runs to the labyrinth. At this point, too, the rebels are there blowing everything up.
They are. It's made very clear at this point that the rebel forces have made a major. I don't know. That sounds like a Star Wars reference, but the rebel forces. There are probably 50 of them, and there's probably only 20 left of this army at this point. They are somewhat decimated. They're outnumbered.
And so she's running. Vidal's chasing her, stumbling around because he's drugged.
Yes.
Into the labyrinth, and we see at one point she reaches a dead end, and then the labyrinth kind of opens up.
Yes.
And she runs through to the middle,
which is this staircase.
Yeah, which is a staircase where down below is where the Fawn is and where she needs to go to where the portal is. The Fawn goes, "Okay."
A statue that looks similarly like the one she found earlier in the show where she replaced the stuff.
And the Fawn, she goes, "Why do you have the dagger that I found?" And he goes, "Oh, in order to open the portal, we need just a few drops of blood from the innocent."
Yeah.
And she goes, "No." And he goes, "You said that you would listen to me and do what I said."
Yes.
And Vidal shows up and he sees her talking to nobody.
Yes. Again, showing you the idea again that is this any of this actual real? And so she does this.
She hands the baby back to Vidal, and Vidal shoots her.
He shoots the little girl
in the stomach.
Yeah.
And then he walks out with the baby, and all the rebels and Mercedes are there. And throughout the entire movie, Vidal has had a pocket watch.
Yes.
And they mentioned this pocket watch at the dinner that Ophelia wasn't at, where he said that his dad had a pocket watch, and he smashed the watch at the hour that he died so that his son would know when he died.
Yes.
And so he keeps looking at this watch every time. And then when he's surrounded by them, he looks at it again and he says, will you tell my son the time that I died? And they said, he's not even going to know.
He's not even going to know your name. Oh, man. What a good, like, this is Mercedes and all of them left. He's not going to know your name. And they're, and they kill him in that moment. And they take the baby.
They go in and they see Ophelia bleeding,
which pans to Ophelia at that point.
That we saw her in at the very beginning of the movie.
She is bleeding, and that blood drops down in this area, which ultimately opens up, and it creates this really beautiful, probably the most beautiful set we see in the entire thing. And this is like this vision of almost like heaven. And there's these 3 thrones, and on these thrones, on the center throne is her actual father, her father, who was the tailor, but this father now looks like almost like a godlike figure. He's a king. And her mother, who is now dead also, is on the throne to the left, and she is there, and she's like, you did it. You didn't sacrifice
the innocent.
And the innocent. You know, that was a test.
And the fawn goes, you passed the test.
And there's a throne. There's a 3rd throne on the right, and that throne belongs to her as the princess. And ultimately, in that scene, this is the scene of her death, that she dies. And it's beautiful because it shows you that war is brutal, but she needed all of this to escape the brutality of war. And ultimately, end, she gets this beautiful death where she gets to be with her father and her mother. It is gorgeous.
And you come back to her.
I wept the first time I saw this.
Ophelia is in Mercedes' arms. Mercedes is crying. And that's where, like, the ultimate question is posed is, was that real?
Yes.
Or was any of the things that she did for the fawn, or was the fawn, all of that, was it real? Or was it all a part of her imagination, her trauma response of getting through this war, her father's death, a new stepfather, like all of these things.
And then it shows you the fig tree that was once rotted, the major tree, a flower begins to bloom where that rotted tree was.
For those who knew the princess would know her effects if they know where to look.
Yes.
And it's a very beautiful ending. I mean, it's a sad ending. It's a sad, like, if you really think about it for what it is, where you have this little girl who got shot, she's dying out, whether you believe that all the stuff with the fawn was real or not. It's a very beautiful, sad ending, which
it is.
Typically in these types of stories you don't get. You get the dad comes around and like loves her as his own daughter.
Well, I think what it's trying to show us is that in war, no one wins. No one wins in war. It is, and you know who specifically doesn't win? The innocent. The innocent specifically do not win in war. And it's just meant to go that, like, hey, and I think it reminds us that we need imaginative stories, and we need these things as a place to be able to process the trauma that happens around us every day. I mean, maybe we're not in the middle of a Spain war or anything else like that, but we have our own things of brokenness we deal with all the time, and we need. To me, it reminds us, like, we need movies. We need storytelling. We need all of this stuff because it helps us escape from the world and the ugliness that we live in. This is why this is just a spectacular movie.
So that's Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes. What do you give this? Kernels. I
give it 4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah, I think that this is 4.5 kernels. Out of everything we have done so far, it is my highest rated of all of our episodes. It is just, so as you're watching it, remember, you can take the idea. Do you believe the fantasy is real?
I don't. Yeah. I don't. I think it was a way for her to, like, cope and let her imagination run.
Yes.
I think Guillermo Del Toro does a really good job of making you question that.
Yes.
I think the only other movie that's done a good enough job of making me question stuff was Inception.
Inception, absolutely. But like this feels so earned. Like even through 5 seasons. I'm sorry, Stranger Things, but that you're gonna just throw at us in the very, very end that we, ultimately this thing about 11 and that she could be this or this, but you just throw that at the end and there's no build up to it or anything else like this. Feels somewhat unearned, and it's why a lot of fans were left really, really upset. Versus this is a movie that is ultimately 2 hours long, and in 2 hours, and in only 2 hours, you feel like you earned the fantasy. Like if you wanted to believe that, you have every reason you could believe it and not.
It's very Spirited Away.
Yeah, it's very Spirited Away. And I think Spirited Away is just a skosh better than this. And that's saying something about not only this, but Spirited Away. And so this is just an excellent movie. And if you are the kind of person that goes, I don't really watch foreign films, I really encourage you. Make this, either this or Parasite, the very first foreign film you ever watch. It's
you won't regret it.
You will not regret it. This is a beautiful, beautiful movie. It's really, really good. And I could talk about it for hours. But that's Pan's Labyrinth.
That leads us to our wheel spin, which last week I said I don't have the laptop. Keaton has the wheel now, so Keaton gets to spin it.
So Keaton,
no spoilers. I can't see it from this far away anyway.
Tell us when you're about to hit it. Drum roll, please. What's our next movie, producer? Okay, come on. Come on.
Dune Part 2.
Yes!
Dune Part 2.
Oh my gosh. I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
Denis.
Timothée
Chalamet.
Zendaya.
Part 2.
That's the second one.
I feel like you could just...
Yeah, we may just want to do Dude, just let's talk about Dune.
We can talk about Dune.
Let's just talk
it'd
about
be a good
Dune.
thing because Dune 3 comes out this year too.
Yes, in what Robert Downey Jr. and Timothée Chalamet are already referring to as Doomsday. Like Barbenheimer was a few years ago. They literally did a thing together, and Robert Downey Jr. wearing his Victor Von Doom shirt, and Timothée Chalamet talking about that, and they're already trying to set up this idea that December 18th is going to be the movie event of the year as they release Dune Part 3, which is Dune Messiah, and it is an incredible story, and Avengers Doomsday.
We might just be living at the movie theater that day.
Wow. It is going to be gigantic. December 18th. Oh my gosh, I have chills. I'm so... Dune, man. It's such a great movie. Talk about visually. Man.
Audio, too.
Oh, it's just, this is...
Keaton, are you going to join us for the rewatch of this?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. This is a great one. I'm so stoked to rewatch this one.
What a great thing. A great first episode in our new studio.
Yes, it'll be a great first episode in the new studio. So, Dune...
We have the popcorn bucket from Dune Part 2.
We do have it. Yes!
Yes!
High five. Okay, so that means that we will see you next time on the next episode. It's been great, as always.
Thank you guys so much for watching on Spotify, listening, or watching on YouTube or Apple. We appreciate it so much. Like, follow, subscribe, all the things. We love seeing the comments. And let us know, actually, for this one, if you think that if all the fairy tale stuff was real or if it wasn't.
Pan's Labyrinth. So good. So good. We are really getting into a flow of some really great films right now. So stoked to see you guys at the next one. You ready to go to the movies?
I'm ready to go to the movies.
See you next time.